Hey tankers, and welcome back to World of Tanks with PR154, where we are getting into the gameplay side of our review of the new Chinese Tier 10 tank destroyer 114 SP2. Now, I do have a more detailed review of this vehicle in a written format on my Wix site, so I will link that below. Hopefully you're catching this review from my Wix page, but if not, please check it out. I've gone to a lot more detail about the different aspects of the tanks, compared it to some of its peers, and a bit more of a detailed description of how to get the vehicle. In summary, this vehicle is the season reward for ranked battles in 2021 to 2022, similarly to what the Concept 1B was in the last season of ranked battles. The Concept 1B, however, has now moved into the ranked items store, where you can buy it for a maximum of 20,000 bonds. Of course, you can make that a bit cheaper by completing certain missions through the ranked mode. So in terms of ranked season 2021 to 2022, the first series has already passed, so there are two more series. So to collect this tank, to pick up this tank, you need to collect 9 tokens throughout the ranked battles 2021-2022 season, and you get a token for each division completion. So you'll get one for the qualifiers, you get one for knocking over Division 3, and you get one for knocking over Division 2. I'm not sure if you get one for Division 1, but you do get another one for knocking over the Gold Division. Essentially what you'd need to do to sort of average out your progress and pick up the tank is you need to complete Division 2 in every series of the 2021 to 2022 season. So there'll be another 2 series later into this year and the front end of next year as well. So if you haven't been able to knock over Division 2 and you're just trying to get in there to access the ranked items store, you might be pushing hard to try to pick this vehicle up through 2021 to 2022, unless you have a fantastic level of performance and can get into the gold leagues. But look, I certainly wouldn't bet my house on achieving that. So we haven't really done much so far this battle. There appear to be a very good set of enemy eyes. I suspect it's that T100 LT spotting us from the mid. So we've been taking a bit of fire from their medium tanks in the meantime. So trying to find a position to get our gun into the game has proven a little bit difficult. The tank is broadly classified as a sniper tank destroyer, so it joins the Grill A15 and the Stridsvagn 103B as the other 2 sniper tank destroyers at Tier 10. It does perform similarly but different to both those vehicles. Probably out of the 3 of them, it's got the worst base dispersion at 0.31 meters per 100 meters. So that can be a little bit problematic. I guess for all intents and purposes, all of those vehicles have turrets. So Grill A15, it has very good traverse. The Stridsvagn 103B, well, I say the whole tank is a turret, really. But what 114 SP2 has going for it is, in spite of that rather poor base dispersion, it has very good dynamic gun handling characteristics, i.e. The aim time is very short, and the gun also doesn't disperse that much after moving the hull or moving the turret, and that's either hull traverse or forward and backwards movement. So what that does is it gives you the ability to quickly change targets, to be able to engage multiple targets and take opportunities like that as they present themselves, which is really handy. In fact, you could almost consider it a Tier 10 Scorpion G. Aside from the fact that mobility is a bit of an area where this vehicle falls down. It's only got a forward speed of about 45 kilometers per hour and a rather excruciatingly bad power to weight ratio. So climbing hills can often feel like having your teeth pulled. Having said that, shots like that can be quite rewarding if you are, I guess. You don't want to be sitting right on the back line because your base dispersion won't allow you to play effectively. But try to move forward enough that your base dispersion doesn't hurt, but also so that you don't have to move too far when your team is able to start running away with the game. So you can see how quickly we're able to sort of switch between targets and really start to put some damage into the enemy. Unfortunately, they also seem to be able to do the same for us. So we took quite a potent hit from the enemy T-95 there, just leaving us on about a quarter of our hit points. So we are going to have to play the rest of this game a little bit conservatively, unfortunately, but for our part, we don't want to deviate too far from I guess how the tank is supposed to be played. And so far as I can tell, it's a tank that's best left in the hands of quite experienced tankers that can read the map, and they can appreciate when the battle appears to be turning in their favour, so they don't get left behind. It does take quite a bit of time to crawl your way forward. As I say, your top speed is only 45 kilometers per hour. Your power to weight ratio climbing hills is quite poor as well. So you really need to draw on every bit of your experience to realize, okay, when's the battle turning and when's the right place to move up, when's the right time to move up, so that we're not left behind. So right now we're aware that there's enemy medium tanks operating through here. We took some fire from them earlier. Having a Future 4 in the middle of the field is also quite a concerning prospect as well, because you know it has both the optics and the gun to really wreck your day. Particularly ours, considering we would take 2 hits from it at this point in time, be sent back to the garage. The armour of this vehicle, it doesn't really rate a mention. Don't rely on it. Interestingly though, and this appears to be a bit of a trend with some of the newer vehicles that have entered the game, it has 75 millimeters of side armour, so that is actually quite well, it's impossible to overmatch. The only shells that can overmatch it come out of SPGs, so even if they do overmatch it, it's quite unusual to begin with. So it can side scrape, but yeah, I'd sort of question why you're in the situation where you're side scraping to begin with. So our setting up at this position has started to pay off. We've been able to knock out the enemy Waffenträger Ausführung Panzer IV, and quickly followed up by the Future 4 as well. So quite happy with that. There is another Future 4 out in the field, however. We can still see that one on the minimap as well. Our heavy tanks have been able to make some reasonable gains and are starting to surround the enemy in and around the Zeppelin. See, the Future 4 has gone to ground, but it has been able to knock out our E50. So hopefully we can follow up and get some shells into it. At the moment, we just don't have line of sight from this position. So we've elected to reposition, try to keep our gun into the game. You can see our team's still trying to work this area and make use of their numerical advantage. So we can see we have a 4-tank advantage, but unfortunately we're roughly equal on hit points, so we can't go throwing too many more away. And in fact, certainly in our case, we don't have many hit points left to throw away. So we'll position to support our team should they identify where that Leopard 1 is, because that I don't believe that's been spotted at all this game. Yep, hasn't been spotted at all yet. So that could be a bit of a persistent problem for our team, but we have been able to get quite a heavy shot into the Shah Future 4. We do have a sort of 650 alpha damage, average alpha on the main armament of this weapon. It does about 273 millimeters penetration on the standard AP, and you can change that up to 329 millimeters with the APCR. The high explosive shell is also quite a good choice as well. It gives you 840 alpha damage, but you get I think it was 90 millimeters of penetration. Yeah, 90 millimeters of penetration with that. So it gives you some real opportunities there to just absolutely shred more lightly armored vehicles, because you just have that very high penetrating power. You can see our Kranvan is sort of pointing out the location through here. Again, that's probably where that Leopard 1 is set up, and is potentially causing quite a bit of grief for our teammates that might be exposed on the ridge there. And there it is. We've been able to see it. It backs up. Can we get a shot into it? Yes, we do. Bit of a high roll there at 724, so we're quite happy with that. Doesn't look like they've been able to see us, so we're outside of its view range there. Swing and a miss against the Czech heavy tank, but that's all right. We can flip around. We can re-engage these targets quite quickly, readying ourselves for another shot on the Leopard 1. Assuming our Skoda T50 or AMX 30B can get a little bit closer to light that vehicle up. Getting closer, getting closer. With a bit of a brave move by the Skoda T50. They're only on sort of 7% of their hit points. Unfortunately, we've bounced off the Leopard 1, and unfortunately we're not able to save our teammate that time around. However, we have been able to knock out one of the persistent threats to our team, where this guy was just sitting back here and farming our teammates as they were working this ridge. But have a look, there's some very, very dire hit point positions of our teammates there. Between myself and the AMX 30B, we're not in stellar condition either. We've also seemed to be making a bit of progress on this mission as well. The key is for honours completion is actually to survive the battle. So diving into that fray with heavy tanks and a heavy tank destroyer with the T95 with only 515 hit points left was not doesn't sound terribly attractive at this point either. So I have elected to go for the cap this time around. Not really expecting Emil 2 to win that fight against two enemy heavy tanks either. They're on a very dire hit point position themselves. In fact, the bar barely registered, and the Czech heavy tank is able to send it back to the garage as well. Just leaving ourselves in the AMX 30B. So there's the Czech heavy and the Japanese heavy tank as well. So we're crossing our fingers and hoping that maybe they're not going to get back to the cap to counter us in time. A few seconds left. Looks like they're taking a few pot shots here. We can see the fence evaporating in front of us, but a little bit too late, and we've been able to secure victory for our team there. So let's take a look at the results. So that's a victory for us in the Chinese Tier 10 Tank Destroyer 114 SP2. For our efforts, we've come away with a level 3 Mastery badge, and have also picked up the Tanker Sniper medal, where we've caused the highest damage per battle from a distance of at least 300 metres. Now that requires a fair bit of consistency of firing from those longer range shots in order to pick up that medal as well. So we're certainly playing to the role of this vehicle as a sniper tank destroyer. We've also picked up the Bruiser medal for causing damage to at least 5 modules or crew members, and the 5 for effect medal for doing at least our hit points in damage, which in this case over 4,200 damage inflicted on the enemy, and we've taken 2 heads in the process as well. Having a look at the team scores, we're a ways off on the experience, so we haven't been able to knock over that campaign mission this time around, despite best efforts to survive the battle. Those honours go to our Kranvan, Emil 2 and AMX 30B, who have also had some very good games between them. Honourable mention, of course, to the Leopard 1 on the enemy team. They have a look at that, nearly 7,000 hit points of damage inflicted on our team, and I would suggest that the majority of that had been from farming our teammates as they were trying to surround an outnumbered enemy in and around the Zeppelin. Looking at the detailed report, we're able to knock over a mission in that game, so we're happy with that. Obviously wasn't the personal campaign mission, but overall we've netted 15,000 credits there. Now, just to stress, the 114 SP2, it is a reward vehicle. It's not a premium vehicle. So you'll get the bonus XP, you'll get the bonus crew XP, but it doesn't generate credits in the same way that a premium tank does. But there you have it, folks. 114 SP2. If you're going for this tank in ranked battles 2021 to 2022, best of luck. And if you're really keen to get this tank, but that sort of consistent placement in the rank series is not is a little bit outside your price range. Fear not. I expect come the next 2022-2023 series of ranked battles, this vehicle will move into the ranked item store, and something else will take its place as the ranked prize, just as happened to the Concept 1B. So that's it, folks. If you'd like to see one of your replays featured on World of Tanks with PR154, please give us a shout over Discord or any of the links below, and we'll do our best to sort you out. In the meantime, take care out there.